Hey everybody, it's Todd and Jeremiah here again with Talk Fort Dodge. A little late this week. We normally start at 10. Today we thought 11:30 sounded like a better time because we were all busy this morning. So here we are live again. Feel free to post comments or anything on your, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll try to get to your questions there too. But this week we are here with Kris Patrick with Main Street Fort Dodge. I got to know Kris when she came to town because we do have a lot of businesses downtown, and because of that, I'm here at the brewery. But if I'm going to talk about downtown, I better be downtown. And so Kris has been just an integral part of making Central Avenue, First Avenue South, First Avenue North, and this whole downtown corridor better since she got here. It's a tough job. It's been an uphill battle for her, I know, the whole time, not because of anybody in particular, but just because it's a big job. And we appreciate having her here. And Kris, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Fort Dodge.
Sure. So I'm actually originally from Des Moines many, many moons ago, but I was living and working in Sheraton, Iowa. My husband and I have a farm out in the country. We raised horses for about 12 years, and I've had my own business for, oh golly, probably 15 years before I closed that and moved into economics. And I was the Main Street Chamber Tourism Economic Developer Director. I wore a lot of hats.
That was a lot of names.
That is a lot of names.
Yeah, I know. It's like 1, 2, 3. I lost track. Anyway, I did that for 5 years, and then Fort Dodge was resubmitted into the Main Street program, and I was really intrigued. I had been in Fort Dodge, several years in the past, and the staff at Iowa Economic Development Authority had said, because they knew I was looking for something different, they said, well, if you're looking for a challenge, why don't you go and look in Fort Dodge? And I came to the community several different times before applying, but I've been here for almost 4 years now, and I'm so glad I made the move. There's so much opportunity here. There's a lot of great collaborations and partnerships, and there's been a lot done in the downtown over the last 4 years. And I'd like to take credit for it, but it's really a big team effort from property owners, business owners, just residents and people who shop local in the community, to grant funding sources and people outside of our community that help make us great. So that's my bio. How's that?
I love it.
It's a good bio.
We appreciate having you here a lot. One of the things that I was a little bit involved in, because I'm partners on a property on the 10 and 1100 block of Central Avenue, is there was a project where the city and the state got together with property owners. Could you tell us about that and kind of the status on it?
Absolutely. So there was a community development block grant through the Iowa Economic Development Authority. Again, a lot of words.
Yeah.
There's lots of anonyms and everything in my work, but that is where that grant came from, and it was called a downtown revitalization grant. And basically what that means is it's a grant to address the front of buildings that have slum or blight. And slum and blight in architectural terms just means maybe delayed maintenance. Things can be actually detrimental to the building, like the bricks are failing and the building's getting ready to fall down. That would be an extreme case. Or windows are failing because water and moisture is getting on the inside. So we did a slum and blight assessment, put in an application in 2018, 2019 to the state, and it was accepted. So we did 12 addresses in the 1000, 1100 block of Central Avenue, and then the side streets on 11th Street and 10th Street. So we address things, like I said, tuck pointing, the mortar that's coming out between bricks, new window systems, which you can see at 1106 Central Avenue. That's next to Little Joe's Computer. What a transformation to take that back to that original. And everything that is done in that grant has to be approved by the State Historic Preservation Authority. And so it's not just throwing in vinyl windows and saying it's good. You really have to follow some standards. It makes it a little bit more tricky, and we have to pay what's called Davis-Bacon wages, which is labor law standards too. So it increases the price of the construction, but the state gave the city $500,000. The city's match was $250,000. So then the property owners are able to get all of this rehabilitation done for only 25% of total construction cost.
That's awesome.
What an amazing, isn't that awesome? So,
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference. If you've been by Mary Kay's, like you talked about Little Joe's Computers, I don't know if you know Ethan at Dungeons and Dodgers. I mean, the front of those buildings have really come along and just made it easier for them to work and make money. I mean, because I think the way those buildings look and building it up to modern standards, even with the historic architecture, just make people want to go there.
well, they do. And even into like 1018 Central and that apartment door up to the apartments above in your building, gosh, I mean, it's so more inviting, and you feel in some ways more safe coming down or going into that stairway because you know what's there because you can see.
There's glass. You can see exactly what's coming in and out.
Right.
Now I have to paint, so I got to paint the inside of that now. So thanks a lot. But
I'm trying to think of things for you to do.
That's
so
good.
if you think about, I know, Fireside
He's just
Lounge.
sitting around doing nothing like 90% of the time.
Yeah, I
so
know. Hanging out at a bar.
Fireside Lounge is the one of two buildings that really had some structural issues going on, where the front of the building was bowing out, getting ready to fall into the street. And so that grant is not just to make the buildings pretty, it's to preserve those buildings so that they can be here for another 100 years.
And am I wrong? But they kind of found that as they were going up there to start tuck pointing, that it was worse than they thought. They actually had to take all the bricks down and relay all the bricks going up. So, I mean, we've already had that happen to one building in downtown where the bricks fall off the building a year or so ago. And in order to catch this stuff early, because we're trying to get ahead of it, is a huge deal.
Right. So the city right now is looking at another area in the downtown as the second DTR2 area, another target area, which we're working on the property owners actually and getting them to participate in the next grant, doing that survey to make sure that there's enough damage to their buildings to participate, and then we'll put another application in. So always something to do, but yeah, it made a big difference. And other communities have proven that by fixing those buildings up, businesses move in and they are a profitable enterprise a lot quicker than if they're just sitting there with unmitigated deterioration.
And what's great about downtown is it's the small business person. It's the person that has an idea that says, you know what, I have this idea, I want to try it. And they have somewhere to go to try those ideas. I mean, I'm going back to Ethan because I really like him. At Dungeons and Dodgers, he had this idea. I love magic cards. And he's turned it into this huge enterprise down there. I mean, that place, if you haven't been in there, go see Ethan at Dungeons and Dodgers because it's just huge. It winds around. He's got all these spaces full. And it's just so cool to see what he's done in that space.
And the kids that hang out in there are just incredible kids that I was in there that one time and just the kids interacting and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't say that. I almost said I wish I didn't have 4 kids so I could go get out more often, but then that's kind of a terrible thing to say. So I retracted.
And you're the same age as some of those kids, so you might not want to call them kids.
But it would be fun. Like they have all those board games and stuff, and you can go in with just another couple and just sit down and play a game or something. It's cool. And to bring those kind of fun things to downtown, I just know like 10 years ago, people are trying to get out of downtown, get up by the shopping area. And I'm hearing people wanting to get back down there. And it's, a lot of different reasons, but what you're doing, a lot of different reasons, all of what you're doing.
Well, we had 7 new businesses during the pandemic. So, 7 new businesses opened in the downtown during a time where a lot of businesses stayed shut, especially in other states. So we're very, very lucky. People see the value of being downtown. Our main focus has been cleaner, safer, more friendly downtown and creating that neighborhood feel. And I think by working together through our Main Street Matters monthly meetings and some things that we've been doing for almost 3 years, that's helped because people realize if we're not supporting our neighbor, we're not going to get stronger ourselves. So it really is that ebb and flow and just a strengthening the whole downtown at one time strengthens the community too.
Yep.
It is. It feels like it's coming back. And you go to some of these other little communities, and I'll say Webster City, because we'll go over there quite a bit. Their downtown looks so nice. They have some good businesses in there, and it's kind of like ours is coming back, because I think 15 years ago it didn't.
It's made a huge change. And you talked about cleaner, and one of the things you mentioned before we got on the air was trash cans. Tell us about this trash can idea.
Sure. So back in late 2018, 2019, Carissa Harvey and I submitted a grant application to Iowa Arts Council, and it was it's called Arts Build Community Grant. It was to address a civic issue, and our civic issue was garbage in the downtown. How can we deal with some of this blowing garbage, dumpster diving issues that we have through art? And we came out with really three strategies and outcome. Number one, create receptacles that are interesting to look at, that are created locally by youth. Maybe more people will use them. Number two, use dumpsters as vehicles for art with a message of pick it up Fort Dodge. And number three, education to the property and downtown businesses. So a lot of them have the Pick It Up Fort Dodge stickers in their window. We've painted a couple dumpsters. Hopefully now that people are getting vaccinated, we can get back to those bigger projects where we've got 7 or 8 people wrapped around a dumpster painting it at one time. But we are going to be installing our garbage receptacles next Tuesday. The Fort Dodge High School Industrial Arts program with Andy Kavanaugh, they actually created these garbage receptacles that Jim Hojek, he's an architect with Allers, he created that overall design, put it in CAD so they can use their C cutter and cut it out. So they're square. They've got the Pick It Up Fort Dodge logo and this arrow. And during COVID and all the kiddos were at home, like in elementary school, they had not a lot to do. We ended up throwing a contest, so they painted arrows. We have 26 of those garbage containers that are going to go out. We've got student art on them. So,
neat.
Isn't that cool? And we'll have their little name on that arrow too, so they can come downtown and find their arrow. And when we can, we will hold an event with the students by their receptacle. And they had a paragraph that they created about why recycling was important. So that's what we want to do. We want to have that event sometime this summer.
That's an awesome idea.
Isn't that great? Yeah, it was not mine. It was our committee. They did a wonderful job. We had Shelley Bodorf, Jennifer Drinkwater, Jennifer Dutcher, Amy Bruno, and tons of other people that were working on these. So if it wasn't for all of these partners with the city and the school system, it wouldn't get done. But very, very excited. Not all of the artwork will be on the receptacles when they get placed in this downtown on Central Avenue next week, but it's soon to come. PSI Printing is the group that's actually applying those arrows to the back panels of those trash cans.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat? Something different.
Yeah. And then with Main Street and working with a lot of small businesses, you had mentioned a virtual entrepreneur lab. What is that? That sounds awesome.
It is. It is really cool. And I'm going to read part of it right off of our website. We partnered with Main Street, Iowa. We got a call from Robin Bostrom, and she said, would you like to be a pilot community with this program where it's one-on-one counseling to small businesses that might want to have help with their budget or time management or their social media marketing? And we said, sure. So Main Street Iowa partnered with the Rural Idea Network. They are a virtual firm that's in 6 states. And what happens is you can go onto our website, mainstreetfd.org, and a window comes up and it just gives you that offering to go to the virtual lab. And once you're there, it just tells you a little bit about that. But the business things that you can do startup coaching. So this is not just available to downtown Main Street district businesses. This is open to any business in the area. Entrepreneurs that haven't gotten a space yet, but they're thinking of starting out, can get one-on-one coaching. You click on that link and it takes you to like a calendar, and you can pick a time and the type of coaching you want to have. And sometimes people can get coaching that same day. It's really quick. Awesome. You get a 3-day turnaround, so you're not waiting a week. And again, it is totally personalized. I never know who's gone on, but at the end of the month, I will get a report saying 6 people use this service, and these are the kinds of things we talked about. There's also business management coaching, entrepreneur roundtables, and panel discussions that they can participate in. So I really encourage anybody that has a business, as a former business owner myself, I mean, I didn't do everything perfect, right? There's always things that we can
There's
learn.
Some expensive lessons in this world.
There are. There sure are.
We've all owned businesses, so we've learned expensive business.
Yeah. And this is a free resource too. So there's no cost to use this resource. It's absolutely free. And
so who are some of the coaches? Are they professionals in Fort Dodge, or are they they're actually all over the place?
All over the place. I don't know if I've got that information on this screen, but if you go to our website, you can find out. Okay. Yeah, these are people.
I was just wondering if it was local people.
No, they're actually national coaches.
Okay.
So no, that would be a cool way to do that too. But these are people that have had some of them large corporations, some of them small businesses, or just do, performers and budgets and things like that also. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Be able to offer it for free. If people really use this, the state IEDA, or Iowa Economic Development Authority, might put this in all of the Main Street communities. So
that's just a great thing. And like we talked about, the businesses downtown are the little people that, I have an idea. And to have the place to put them and the resources to help them develop that and building into something is awesome. And like I said,
I think it's awesome that Todd now has a resource to go get some coaching.
That's right. I was thinking about calling because I got an idea.
There you go.
That's always scary when he says that, Kris.
I know.
I thank God you're not my wife. She hears it about 3 times a week, and every time she's just like, no.
He's like, I need another bottle of wine.
There we go.
And that's where the ideas come from.
But that's a good point, because most people who own their own business, they don't have time to go look for resources to figure out what they need, so to be able to just have somebody else do that for them, I think is huge.
That's awesome. That's great.
It's huge.
And you don't know where to look. When we started, I mean, we reached out to everybody, and the SBA tried their hardest, but you're like, what? I get this packet this big, and I don't even know how to read it. And Shiny Top was the same way. We got this huge packet, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, this is more information than I can digest. I need the 1-pager. Say, do this, don't do that.
Right, exactly. And you don't know what you don't know when you start out either, because you do have to go to the city for some licensing, and then you have to go to the state for other things, and it can just be so overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I can say is don't give up. If you're an entrepreneur and you really have an idea that you want to explore, there are lots of people in town that can be your mentors. You don't have to necessarily go through this virtual lab program, but don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah, you can call me. Jeremiah, you call any of us, and we'll be like, you know what? If it's your passion and you can make it profitable, do it. So, well, we've already burnt through about 20 minutes, and I know there's a million other things we could talk about, because Kris, you are involved in a lot of stuff, and you've really helped shape and turn downtown into what it is now in just the short time you've been here. And we appreciate you for that. And we appreciate your time today. I know you have a lot going on. And everybody else, we will see you next week hopefully at 10 o'clock on Talk Fort Dodge. And I'm going to give a little sneak peek. There's a guy named Luke that is supposed to be on with us. So if all goes to plan, next Thursday at 10 o'clock, we'll talk to Luke.
Yay.
Have a great week,
Kris.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.